Shabbat Shalom. Tonight is the last Shabbat before Passover, which is known as Shabbat Hagadol, the Great Shabbat, which is why you are all being blessed with this fantastic matzah tie. You know, if you're a rabbi, you have to have a novelty matzah tie. But more importantly, the nigun we began with is a beloved melody of Dodi Lee. I am my beloved and my beloved is mine. One of the magnificent pieces of poetry from Song of Songs, the biblical book that we read each Passover. I look forward to praying with you and welcoming Shabbat with you this week. I'm joined in the leadership of this service by our cantorial intern, Isaac Sonnet Asor, and he shared with me that we are also lucky to be joined for a couple of pieces in Kabbalat Shabbat by his wife, Caroline Sonnet Asor, on the flute. So thank you for sharing her with us. And while you won't see my family tonight, stick around to Motzi to see the handmade matzah that my boys made, as we sadly have no more chametz, no more leavened bread in our home as we get ready for Seder tomorrow night. I hope you'll now join me in kindling the lights of Shabbat. Having very poor success on matches this evening. There we are. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav, Ritzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat.
One of my favorite Passover traditions is the recitation of the Song of Songs, the book of love poetry found in the Hebrew Bible that has become the inspiration for much of the wedding liturgy and, of course, the liturgy of the rest of the welcoming in of the Shabbat bride. The poem sings of spring and hope and rebirth, and it makes it a fitting companion to the Haggadah, especially on an evening much like this, if you have the ability to pray with a window nearby so you can just enjoy this beautiful, beautiful spring day. And the words L'cha Dodi, come my beloved, would become the inspiration for this Kabbalat Shabbat service as a wedding processional for the Shabbat bride. There is nothing hurried in the poem. The lovers in the poem enjoy the beauty of the new season every single moment, much as we are told to recline in relaxation throughout our Seder. And so this evening, as we bring in the Shabbat bride with the Kabbalat Shabbat service, we'll take a few extra moments and really take our time and get to languish in this melody, in this just the words and the melodies that accompany them. And so what you'll be hearing this evening will be a trajectory of some a cappella singing, some use of guitar, some use of piano, but really trying to build and stretch out the way that we sing these psalms together, as if we could almost imagine that we are singing them all together and we could hear our voices rising and falling throughout the service. And so I encourage you this evening to engage with the Kabbalat Shabbat part of the service in a new way. Maybe you don't normally sing along with your services, and if that's the case, I encourage you to try and sing or find new harmonies, or perhaps you are preparing your Shabbat dinner, and I would invite you in that case just to stop for a moment, to close your eyes, to take a deep breath, and to really breathe in this new season. And together we can enjoy a more relaxed way of celebrating this wedding, this season of rebirth of the Jewish people. We'll continue with Lechuna Ranina. Come, let us sing a song of praise together. Lechuna Ranina l'Adonai, Naria letzor yishenu. Lechuna Ranina l'Adonai, Naria letzor yishenu. Nekadma v'na betoda, bizmirot naria lo. Nekadma v'na betoda, bizmirot naria lo. Lechuna Ranina l'Adonai, Naria letzor yishenu. Lechuna Ranina l'Adonai, Naria letzor yishenu. Nekadma v'na betoda, bizmirut naria lo. Nekadma v'na betoda, bizmirut naria lo. Lechuna Ranina l'Adonai, Naria letzor yishenu. Lechuna Ranina l'Adonai, Naria letzor yishenu. Nekadma v'na betoda, bizmirot naria lo. Nekadma v'na betoda, bizmirot naria lo. As we welcome in this season of rebirth, we'll sing a song asking that in this new season, really this new Jewish year, the very first month of the year, that we will all be blessed with strength and blessed with peace. Ya la 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 ya la, ya la 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 la.
את עמו, אדוני יוז לעמו ייתן, אדוני יברך את עמו. יאללה לי 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 לי, יאללה לי לי לי, יאללה לי 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 לי, יאללה לי לי לי, יאללה לי לי לי, ושלום.
Come, my beloved, let us welcome in the Shabbat bride.
לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. שמור וזכור בדיבור אחד, השמיענו אל המיוחד, אדוני אחד ושמו אחד, לשם ותפארת ולתהילה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. נידון שבת לכו ונלכה, כי היא מקור הברכה, מראש מקדם מסוכה, סוף מעשה במחשבה תחילה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. התעוררי, התעוררי, כי באורך קומי אורי, אורי אורי שידברי, כבוד אדוני עלייך ניגע. לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. If you are so moved to do, please feel free to rise and to face the door as we welcome in the Shabbat bride. בואי בשלום עטרת בעלה, גם בשמחה ובצהלה, תוך אמוני עם סגולה. בואי חלה, בואי חלה, לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה.
In the closing, one of the two closing hymns from the Kabbalat Shabbat service, we say that in all ages we are able to have rebirth and new growth. Tzaddik katamar yifrach, that the righteous will bloom like a date palm. In all ages, there's opportunity for rebirth. Tzaddik katamar yifrach, kerez balevanon yizgeh, shetuli bebeit Adonai, bechatrot Eloheinu yafrichu. Ordenun neseiva desheni verananim yiyu lehari ki yashar Adonai tzuri velo avlat abo.
If you feel so moved, I invite you to rise as we offer the Baruch. Baruch hu et Adonai hamevorach. Baruch Adonai hamvorach leolam vahen. I've heard that Israelis love democracy so much, they vote twice a year. As with many Jewish jokes, it is both funny and tragic. Israelis returned to the polls for the fourth time on Tuesday in these past 2 years, and it looks like there is yet another impasse on the horizon. Yes, there are two possible coalitions to be formed, a pro-Benjamin Netanyahu coalition and an anti-Benjamin Netanyahu coalition, but with the narrowest of margins, and many commentators are already looking towards a fifth election this August. But this election has brought joys and sorrows. In particular, I find joy in that Gilad Kariv, a Reform rabbi, is going to be a member of Knesset with the Labor Party. This is the first time a Reform rabbi has been part of the Knesset, and it points towards a possibility of religious pluralism in Israel that is so sorely needed. And on the other side, I find true sorrow in the openly racist, neo-Kahanist, and homophobic party, Religious Zionism, and that they will be a part of the Knesset spreading hate and bigotry every time their leader, Itamar Ben-Gvir, comes to the podium. I have no crystal ball to tell you what will happen next. But what I do know is that the hatred that is coming into the Knesset in this election is not healthy. And the tribalism that we're seeing on all fronts in Israel is troubling. And I know that is true not just here, but for those that live in Israel as well. So as we wait and see what the future holds, we pray for God's love and attention upon us and all Israel. Baruch atah Adonai, Ohev Amo Yisrael. Blessed are you, Adonai, our God, who loves the whole people of Israel. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem, Kevod Malchuto, Leolam Vahen. ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך. והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוקתך ובקומך, וקשרתם לאות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם. אדוני אלוהיכם אמת.
We will continue with the word Smi Chamocha as we celebrate passing through the sea into redemption, into freedom. And to do so, we will use this traditional Passover melody. The words Adir Hu, also who, in another sense, who is like you. Mi Chamocha Ba'elim Adonai, Mi Chamocha Nedar B'Kodesh, Nora Tehilot Osef Eleh Malechutecha La'uvanecha Bokei Hayam Lifnei Moshe Umiriam Zeili Zeili Anu Ve'ameru Adonai Yimloch Le'olam Va'ed. V'nehemar ki vada Adonai et Yaakov, Ugealo miyad chazak mimenu, Baruch atah Adonai, Ga'al Yisrael. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu l'shalom, l'shalom, ve'hamidenu shomreinu l'chaim. Ufros aleinu sukat shelomecha, ufros aleinu sukat shelomecha. Amen. Shelter us beneath your wings, O Adonai. Guard us from all harmful things, O Adonai. Keep us safe throughout the night, till we wake with morning's light. Teach us, God, wrong from right, O Adonai. Amen. 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 continue with the Amida. Adonai Sefatai Tiftach Ufi Akid Tehilatecha Adonai, open up my lips, that my mouth may declare your praise.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu v'Elohei Avotenu v'Imotenu Elohei Avraham Elohei Yitzhak v'Elohei Yaakov Elohei Sarah Elohei Rivka Elohei Rachel v'Elohei Leah Ha'el HaGadol HaGibor v'Hanora El Elyon גומל חסדים טובים וקונה הכל וזוכר חסדי אבות ואימהות ומביא גאולה לבני בניהם למען שמו באהבה מלך חוזר ומושיע ומגן ברוך אתה אדוני מגן אברהם ועזרת שרה אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני, מחיי הכל אתה רב להושיע. משיב הרוח ומוריד הגשם, מכלכל חיים בחסד, מחיי הכל ברחמים רבים. סומך נופלים ורופא חולים, ומתיר הסורים. ומקיים אמונתו לשני עפר. מי כמוך בעל גבורות ומדומה לך, מלך ממית ומחיה ומצמיח ישועה. האמנת לחיות הכל, ברוך אתה אדוני מחיי הכל. אתה קדוש ושמך קדוש, וקדושים בכל יום יהללוך סלה. ברוך אתה אדוני האל הקדוש. As the psalmist said, to you God silences praise. Please take these few moments to offer your silent prayer to God.
Over the next several days, we will be reflecting on and celebrating the meaning of freedom. And so we will come together with these words from the Song of Songs, in which we celebrate that the rains have passed and that the time has come for singing. This is an invitation for us to be able to move forward into freedom in every possible way. We will sing these words, Ana Dodi V'Amar Li, kumilach, kumilach. My beloved, come away.
Anadodi ve'amarli, amar dodi ve'amarli, kumilach, kumilach, rayati afati, kumilach, kumilach, ulechi. Geshem chalav, halach lo, kumilach, kumilach, rayati afati, kumilach, kumilach, ulechilach. The flowers appear on the earth, the earth. Rise up, my love, my fair one, for lo, the winter is past, the rain's over. Rise up, my love, the time of singing has come. Rise up, my love, the time for singing has come.
It's like riding a bike. The aphorism suggests that bike riding is one of those skills that you never lose. That inside each of us is the ability to quickly and self-assuredly get back on our bike and begin to ride again, if we've learned before, of course. As the weather warms, I'm excited to put that aphorism to the test, having not really ridden in years outside of a stationary bike. Benji and Micah can't wait for the Bronx River Parkway to close over the summer and for all of us as a family to get on our bikes and ride. As we plan for this journey, Benji asked me, innocently, how bicycles work. I gave him a quick reply with no substantive depth, confident in what I knew, but then again, after a little while, my initial curiosity got a little bit deeper about how do bicycles work? I began to dig deeply into the science of bicycles, known as bicycle dynamics. And let me tell you, I was shocked with what I learned. It turns out that scientists that dedicate their lives to understanding bicycles don't fully comprehend how they work. According to recent research, they can't even explain why bicycles stay upright. They just know that they do. But that doesn't stop people like me from assuming that we understand them implicitly, simply because we know how to ride them. This phenomenon is called the illusion of explanatory depth, first uncovered by researchers Leonard Rosenblit and Frank Keel. It stems from our belief that if we understand functionally how something works, that somehow we have deeper insight into how it works and why it works at all. Especially in this modern age, there are so many things that surround us that we couldn't possibly explain why they work or how to rebuild or fix it if it breaks. But we know how to operate them, which gives us a false sense that we understand them to a greater extent than we actually do. Friends, I've been thinking about this phenomenon, especially as we prepare to embark upon Passover tomorrow night. In the Talmud, they talk about the requirement to hold a Passover Seder. and in particular to ask the 4 questions. The text goes as follows. The sages taught, if his son is wise and knows how to inquire, his son asks him the 4 questions about Passover. And if his son is not wise, his wife asks him. And if his wife is not capable of asking, or if he has no wife, he asks himself. And even if 2 Torah scholars who know the halachot, all of the rules of Passover, and are sitting together and there's no one else present to pose the questions, they ask each other. Even if we think we know everything functionally there is to know about Passover, that we need a Seder plate, a Haggadah, and how the Seder goes, we are still required to ask the questions, and we still need to have a Seder every year, because we will spend a lifetime understanding the why of the Seder. I've said many times that the Passover Seder is one of the earliest teaching tools that exists, and it's designed to focus on the youngest learners. But what I was left pondering this year was the relationship between Passover Seder and the illusion of explanatory depth, and how the ritualistic requirement of the Seder exists to burst the bubble that we may carry around with us, that we understand what it means to be slaves and what it means to be free because we've read it in a book, that we have that illusion of explanatory depth. Think with me for a moment. What is freedom? How do we understand freedom? How can we understand slavery today and what it means to be enslaved? Through the power of narrative and fact, we are invited to deepen our understanding of these crucial ideas every single Seder. To not simply say, I'm free and not a slave, but to try and cultivate depth in our understanding of these key ideas. And the fact that we need to ask these questions regardless of how well we know how to run a Seder is what is crucial about each one. The traditional Seder provides a number of ways to engage with this question. It states every person is required to look at themselves as if they left Egypt, challenges us to consider how we've left Egypt and how we've left bondage in some way. The eating of maror reminds us of the bitterness of slavery, as does the salt water that we dip our herbs in. The 4 questions are asked and answered. Each answer gives us a way to find a part of freedom, from the eating of matzah to reclining while we eat. But just as our tradition has evolved over time, so should our Seder experience. If the Seder you're leading or participating in, for that matter, no longer inspires you to explore the true meaning of freedom and slavery, then maybe this year is the time to get a new Haggadah. I know it's a little late for that, but new Haggadot come out every single year. And while it may be cost prohibitive to buy a new Haggadah year after year, you can also look to Jewish organizations to offer a Haggadah supplement, to deepen your Seder, and to challenge you to find more meaning in your ritual. In the chat on Facebook, YouTube, and here on Zoom, I'm about to put some resources that barely scratch the surface of the variety of opportunities to deepen your Passover this year. Now, it looks like one of my post was a little too long on YouTube. Hold on. There we go. Last but not least, one of the best known segments of the Seder is the 4 questions, as we began. But limiting ourselves to the questions on the page and the answers in the book was never what the Seder was intended to be. It is a night defined by questions and answers and conversation, and the narratives we hold within us, the stories of freedom and slavery that we've lived with, can and will add meaning to the night and to the people we're sharing the Seder with. Take a moment to ask people at the Seder to simply share where they have felt enslaved in the past year, trapped in their homes, unable to be with the people they love. When was a moment when they felt free in the past year? On a Zoom Seder, maybe, where we were able to see and interact with people that we don't normally get to. As you read through the words, ask questions aloud instead of internally. and invite tangents to develop into authentic conversation, and not let the formula get in the way of what depth needs to be found in the experience. So I hope as we all sit down to Seder tomorrow night, that we don't simply assume we know the answers before we've begun. We don't assume that because we know the basic of freedom and slavery, that we know the core ideas of the Passover Seder. Rather, may we plumb the depths of what's possible for us and our families and our loved ones and everyone who is sitting around our Seder table this year, ensuring each of us leaves with a small bit closer to a deeper understanding of what it truly means to be free. So many people feel enslaved by sickness. If you were to talk to them, you would find in their experience the pain of not being able to recognize the freedom of being able to get up and walk around as they wanted to. I remember that so well when I couldn't walk, how enslaved I felt. Tonight, we are praying for so many. And I know that it is only the small portion of the people that we know of in our congregational community, and there's so many others in need of healing this Shabbat. But I want to name aloud a few people: John Ryan Martin, Melech, Ezra Yarden ben Harav Elkanah Lev Haraba Eliana Leah, Stephen Bleckman, Anthony and Elizabeth Dankner, Mordechai ben Yaakov, Dr. Herb Newman, Raleigh Corin, Deborah Kapnick, Nicole Shusi, Neil Glaskell, Joshua Gendel, Andrea Rayner, Chaim ben Sapora, Masha Batsora, Leah Greenspan, Aviva Tzila bat Esther Bela, Dan Sokoloff, Jeffrey Millman, Ken Master, Cheryl Brickman, Chava Batsara, Eliyahu Chaim ben Fredel, Sheila Freed, Tanya Romanoff, Howard Cowan, Moshe ben Huddle, Yitzhak Yona ben May, Malchut Tzipora bas Rachel, Tamar bat Malka, Heschel Meir ben David Achana, David Ze'ev ben Fruma Etzel, Mark Wolf, Shai Aviad ben Balfura, and Alter Shmuel ben Chavalea, and all those whom we are naming aloud in our own homes. We pray for healing, Misha Berach.
Misha Berach Avoteinu Mekor HaBracha Leimoteinu. May the source of strength, who blessed the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say Amen. Misheberach Imoteinu Mekor HaBracha Lavoteinu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say Amen.
Continue with Aleinu. Aleinu leshabeach ladon hakol, latet gdula leotzer breshit, shelo asanu kigoyei haratzot, ולא שמענו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המונם. ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים, הקדוש ברוך הוא. ונאמר, והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ, ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו אחד. We now bring into our hearts and minds those whom we have loved and lost in this season. I know that I am personally feeling the pain of this season, as this is the first yard site for my wife's aunt, which is where we met 1 year ago at a Passover Seder. It makes this whole season a little more bittersweet for us. And I know that for so many others who approach this time of year, there is that moment of joy in remembering those we loved, and also the pain in knowing that we'll never be able to have those conversations we want to have with them again. So wherever you are in your journey of memory, we draw into our hearts people that we've lost, beginning with those whom we've laid to rest in the past 4 weeks. Mariana Dranitz, mother of Karen Wolf and Ron Dranitz, Karen Adler, mother of Joshua Adler, Alan John Ryan, husband of Valerie Ryan, Arthur Sobel, father of Meg Lazarus, Jason Camhey, brother of Josh Camhey, Ian Cascade, father of Ryan Cascade, Adrian Gray, wife of Barry Gray and father of Richard Gray, Alex Weintraub, husband of Honey Weintraub and father of Jed Weintraub and Seth Weintraub, and Shirley Salent Beck, mother of Lisa Beck. And the yard site, the anniversary of their passing, we remember James Allen, Jenny Bassick, Felix Beck, Dorothy F. Braun, Arthur A. Chaprak, Erica Cohen, Sylvia Colby, David Dodez, Estelle Dreisen, Lottie Ellertson, Janet Ellis Myman, Sonia Engelson, Donald Grant, Alan File, Clara Friedman, David Geller, Florin Goodman, Gary Greenfeld, David Grossman, Susan Grossman, Thelma Hirschman, Lola Hutzler, Asher Katz, Loris Keats, Betty Krupman, Tamar Mann, Ron Meyer, Cecile K. Miller, Elaine H. Morse, Steve Neidish, Sylvia Orenstein, Robert Prinzer, Sonia Rapp, Nat Romanoff, Jay Sharoff, Lillian G. Shore, Felix Schnorr, Gerald Schreiber, Jerome Siegel, Walter Sullivan, Jack Talsky, Michael Tanser, Milton Thurm, and Jerome Weiner. Please share any additional names, or if I have inadvertently mispronounced your loved one's name, please share them all aloud in your home as we prepare to offer the words of Kaddish Tome together. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, ve'alma divra chirutei v'yamlich malchutei, v'chayechon u'vyomechon u'v'chaye d'chol Beit Yisrael, ba'galau v'zman kari v'imru. Amen. Yehi shmei Rabbah mevarach le'olam olamei amaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitramam v'yitnaseh. V'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shmei d'kudsha brichu. Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata. Tush bechata v'nechamata. Da'miran de'alma v'imru. Amen. Yehi shlama Rabbah min shemaya. V'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru. Amen. Osei shalom b'romav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, v'imru. Amen. V'meru, amen. V'meru, amen. A few announcements about what's upcoming this week. I know many of us are getting ready for a Passover Seder. If you want to go deeper into the work of Song of Songs, I hope that you'll join Isaac Sanat Asor, who's with us tonight, who will be teaching Torah study tomorrow at 9 a.m. We'll begin with a service and then a study of that beautiful love poetry. So I sincerely hope you'll join him. The Zoom link was sent out in our weekly e-blast. Regarding Passover, we have 2 opportunities to pray in person, we hope, because we are only actually gathering in person if we can be outside. So our outdoor Passover morning service, hopefully, will be on Sunday morning. We do need you to sign up in advance. Again, you can do that online, just to make sure that we can accommodate everyone, because there's a maximum of 40 people. But that is on Sunday morning, and then you can join Isaac and I again the following Saturday morning as we do Passover Yizkor and remember all those whom we've lost in this year past. Also, of course, on Friday nights, there will be Friday night services. I didn't mean to skip over that, but it does also mean, just so you know, there will be no Torah study next week because we will have our festival morning service. And I hope that you'll join us. There will be a chance to watch the service both on Sunday morning and on Saturday morning for our Passover morning service and our Yizkor service, but it will not be a Zoom service. It will be one directional. So just as an FYI. There won't be quite as interactivity in the same way. But with all that said, let us turn to Kiddush and Motzi. Isaac, if you will lift up a cup of Kiddush, and then I'll show off my homemade matzah.
Absolutely. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei beri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu b'shabbat kodsho be'ahava u'b'ratzon hinchilanu zikaron lema'aseh bereishit ki hu yom techila l'mikra'ei kodesh zecher litziat Mitzrayim kivanu v'acharta ve'otanu kidashta mikol hamim v'shabbat kodshecha be'ahava u'beratzon inchaltanu baruch atah Adonai Mekadesh HaShabbat.
Amen. So for motzi, I have these kind of mini matzah, but they're actually come in multiple shapes. I have a heart-shaped matzah. My kids had a lot of fun over in a kind of a trapezoid matzah. But whatever your matzah is, or if you still are enjoying challah, which I'm jealous if you are, Benji was very unhappy that we didn't have challah this Shabbat. Please join me in singing motzi. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lechem min haaretz. B'te'avon and Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
Thank you for a beautiful service.
Shabbat shalom, everyone.